Hey there, class. Mr. Pusky here. Hope you're having a good day so far. We're continuing with Chapter 10. This is 10.3. Chapter 10 is all about circles. We're talking about chords today. And chords are basically a line segment on a circle with the endpoints that are on the circle. So yeah, let's get into this here. Know what we're on today? Theorem 10.3. In the same circle or in congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent. These two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords, so like A, B, and C, D, if these are congruent, then we can say that the arcs are congruent. So AB, oh wait, whoops, I goofed that up. So AB, line segment AB is congruent to CD, right? You can kind of see that these kind of chords here take up as much space on the circle because of they're the same length, right? So they're going to be congruent, okay? All right, so example 1. So yeah, it says use congruent chords to find an arc measure. So we know that these circles are congruent because these radii are the same. So congruent circles have the same radius length. What do we know here? We're looking for measure of arc BC. All right, so our measure of arc BC, which is right here, okay? And what do we know here? Well, it looks like we have some chords here. We know that this chord is congruent to this chord. And if that's true, we know that the arc measures are the same. So this arc measure is 125. What's the other one going to be? 125. Ta-da, that's it. Awesome. All right, moving on. Same kind of thing, I guess. If you have a chord that's a perpendicular bisector of another chord, then the first chord is going to be a diameter. So in this case, QS is going to be a diameter. So basically, if you have chords inside a circle that are perpendicular, one has to go through the center of the circle and is a diameter. Okay? All right, let's see here. Yeah, so if you have two chords that intersect at a right angle, they're going to be, it's going to be a diameter. All right? We also know that one thing to measure here is if they intersect at a right angle here, we know that these lengths right here are going to be congruent, and also these arc measures are going to be congruent, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? For theorem 10.5, we know GD, arc GD, and GF are going to be, like we just talked about. So these are going to be congruent, and also these arc measures up here are going to be congruent. Or sorry, chord measures, the half chords. Basically divided into two congruent parts, okay? All right, let's keep going. So example 2. Use the diagram of circle E to find the length of BD. Okay. Well, we know that this is a diameter here, which means that these two lengths are going to be the same. So if, when you're looking for BD, right? So BD is going to equal, well, BD is all the way across. We know that BS is going to be what? It's going to be 6. So what's 6 plus 6? It's going to be 12. Okay? All right. And in a similar vein, we know that we have measure of arc BD. This entire arc right here is going to be 90, and it wants to know the measure of arc CD, which is half of that, right? It's this one right here. So what do we do with that? Well, it's going to be half of 90. So the measure of arc CD is going to equal 45 degrees, 90 divided by 2. Awesome. So yeah, so basically again, so we know that these lengths are going to be the same, and also these arcs are going to be the same length, okay? So it kind of splits it right down the middle, and so using that information, we can find the other things here, okay? All right, couple things here. In the same circle and congruent circles, two chords are congruent if and only if they're equidistant from the center, which means that FE is congruent to GE, right? So FE is congruent to GE, okay? That's going to inform our decision here. So it goes both ways. We can say if those are congruent, then we know that the chords are the same, or we can say if the chords are the same, we can figure out this information, right? So in this case, for example 3, what do we know here? Well, we know that these chords are the same because they're both length 12, right? And so what does that mean about these distances here? Well, these are going to be congruent. So we know that 7x minus 8 equals 3x. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and solve for x if you can. I would probably minus 7x for both sides, which is kind of weird, but that's what I do. Negative 8, to get all the x's to one side, we get equals negative 4x. Divided by negative 4, we get x equals 2. And are we done? Well, not quite. We're looking for EF, and what's EF in this case? EF is 3x, so we have EF, 3x, and x is 2, so 3 times 2 is going to be 6. And that's going to be our answer. All right, we got some checkpoints here. Why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video, see how you do. All right, sounds good. So we know that these chords are the same here for checkpoint 1. We know the TV is 121. If the chords are the same, what do we know about RS? It's also, measure of RS is also 121. Nice. All right, how about this one? Number 2. All right. So this is a little tricky here, but what do we know about these two arcs right here? Well, they're going to be the same, so we can do 4x equals 80 minus x. We're looking for those different arc measures. If you guys want to pause this and see how you do, go ahead. All right, we're going to add x to both sides. We get 5x equals 80, divided by 5, x equals 16. We're not done yet, though. We got to find each of these. So measure of CB equals 4 times 16, right? That's CB, which equals 64 degrees. And measure of BE should also be 64. We're going to do 80 minus 16, which is x, which is going to be also 64. And then the measure of CE, which is all the way across, is going to be 64 plus 64, right? Or 2 times 64, which equals 128 degrees. These are our answers. All right, and then checkpoint 3, or example 3. So it says in this example, so it says EF and GF are both, in this case, these are both 7. So we're looking for CD. And it also says, pretend that this is going to be 27, right? So if we know these are the same, and this is 27, what's going to be true about this over here? Well, CD is just going to equal 27. And that's it, okay? All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.